Wow, it's really quiet in here. I feel like, maybe a round of applause for that video. That was pretty spectacular. It's like, hoping nobody tripped on the way up here. First of all, I want to welcome you all to this amazing day here in St. Paul, Minnesota. But I'm going to take a moment here to introduce our special guest. We have, of course, owner Dr. Bill Mcguire, MLS Commissioner Don Garber. We have the St. Paul Mayor Melvin Carter and the Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry. And welcome to everybody watching on the stream here today. It's a pretty spectacular day, and I feel like I'm running out of superlatives to talk about the amazing days that we've had here at Allianz Field in the state of Minnesota. And it doesn't get old, that's for sure. We've had the scarf raising, the steel beams being put in when the stadium is being built, all these fantastic moments, not just in Minnesota, not just in the Twin Cities, but specifically here in St. Paul, Minnesota, and at Allianz Field. And, I just wanted to say, growing up in the state of Minnesota and growing up with soccer being such a massive part of my life and really shaping who I've become, returning to Minnesota to be a part of Minnesota United, to be a part of the soccer community, to be a part of the community in Minnesota as a whole is a pretty special opportunity. And, I look around the room and watching open training here today, you find all sorts of faces and people and families that you knew growing up. And that's exactly what happened here with me in the state of Minnesota. And so I think when we have special days like this and special moments in Allianz Field, in St. Paul, in the greater Twin Cities area, it almost gives you chills. It gives you goosebumps when you know that the soccer community that you've grown up loving. I played Thunder camps, I coached the Thunder camps, and to now kind of see it full circle with a pretty special, meaningful day here today. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the one and only MLS Commissioner Don Garber.
Thanks, Kendra. The doctor of soccer. Hey, Kendra, thanks a lot, and thanks for everything that you do for the sport here in this community and what you do for the club. You're doing a really fantastic job and representing everything that we want our sport to be, so keep up the good work. And it's a pleasure to be back in Minnesota, and it's great to see both mayors who were so involved in helping us build this team and getting this project up and going, and importantly, for helping to get your community through a very, very difficult time over the last year and a half. We all watched from afar. All of you here watched live in this community, but thank you very much for everything that you've done. And I know we have representatives here from our title sponsor of the All-Star Game and a great league sponsor and a great club sponsor, the local company Target, who's been with us since 2017. So welcome to the representatives of Target. It's great to be back together. Over the last couple of weeks, we have gotten out into the community where our clubs live, our players live, and our clubs play, and it's great to be out and seeing fans and to remember what sports is all about. It's about fulfilling the hopes and dreams of young people who want to grow up and be great athletes, or fans who really care about their club. And Bill really talks a lot about that, about the importance of this team in the community and what it means and what it represents. And as effective as we were in getting our teams back on the field in the bubble and then getting back into our stadiums, there's nothing like what you can see when you watch a game here at Allianz. When I watch them on television or when I've attended events, this is what Major League Soccer was meant to be. So I want to thank you, Bill, and thank your partners, thank all the staff that works for the club, and thank everybody in the community that's worked so hard to help build this team. And that's why when we think about the big events in our league, the ones that are most important, the ones that allow us to showcase our players and our stadiums and our cities to the rest of the world, it's about awarding an All-Star Game. And they're not just awarded. We have lots of teams. They're earned. And the important thing here is, while we made a commitment to bring the All-Star Game here, it's everything that this team is. It's everything that it represents. It's everything that it feels like in the community that has Minnesota United earning the All-Star Game and the great announcement that we have here today. It's because of the hard work. It's because of the commitment. It's the creativity of the brand. You feel this brand in the cities. You feel it when you're in the stadium. You feel it when you see the players and their relationship with the fans. It's the loyalty that everybody has to the cause that's so important. And I want to say that when we announced this club, we said that we were trying to build a soccer nation in North America, soccer nations in North America, 3 teams in Canada, and the soccer nation lives right here. So I can't wait to see what that's going to look like next August and having that showcased throughout the world. You know, believe it or not, it's been 10 years since Dr. Mcguire came together with Major League Soccer and helped launch this team. And I remember a quote. Actually, I didn't remember it. I wrote it down. I want to repeat this quote that Bill said many, many years ago. He said, "The heritage of the sport in this city and in this region, the demographics of our population make it a perfect fit for Major League Soccer. If you look at our community, what our interests are, and everything that we represent, I could not let this one get away." So I stepped in and I said, let's make this into something. And you have done that. And you do that week in and week out. And it hasn't been that long a period of time. So I want to thank you, Bill, and all your partners, many of whom are here today. And then there was a time when we were saying, where's the team actually going to have its stadium? And I remember driving around the different communities and settling here in what we call the Midway. I think you call it that. I'm not sure. Is it still called the Midway, Bill? And we looked out and we saw something that kind of shouted to us that something could come out of the ground and it could represent something that our sport really wanted to be and now is with this spectacular stadium. And to see fans cheering for the club, to see the Wonderwall song that happens when a team has a win, which was natural, that's a tribute to the fans and the supporters. And I know some of them are here today. You're leading the way. You're doing a great job. You're building a team that's best in class. And again, another reason why the 2022 MLS All-Star Game presented by Target will be here at Allianz Field. So let me start by at least saying congratulations and put a round of applause. There's also a couple of other things that I want to talk about. Our events in and around it will be fun and they'll be exciting, but there'll also be some very meaningful events. We will get out into the community as we do year-round, league-wide, club by club, but we make a special effort to do that with Days of Service. That will be sponsored by Target. We'll get our players, we'll get our sponsors and others that'll go out into the community. And it reflects this League for a New America that we have as our kind of our leaning in statement about who we want to be. Diversity and equity and inclusion, particularly now more than ever, is a very, very important part of our league positioning, our league focus, and our league purpose. And I want to recognize somebody who is part of an organization that we put together right after the shooting of George Floyd, and all of us, whether it was the sports leagues or communities and people throughout our country and the world, said, hey, we've got to do our part to ensure that we could make a difference. We use the power of our league and our athletes to get out and try to do our part. We hired a diversity and equity inclusion officer, that's Shola Winley, who joined us about a year ago, and Tony Senna, who all of you know because Tony's a local guy. Tony represents a group of ex-MLS players, we call them MLS greats, that have come together with current players in our league, part of an organization called the Black Players for Change, and our owners and members of the MLS staff. And we came together to form an organization. It's a committee that gets together regularly. It is the only one in professional sports that has players, that has members of the staff, that has our owners working together on these important programs. So, Tony, thanks for what you do for your community, what you do for our sport. We look forward to you being a part of the All-Star Game next summer. So, folks, can't wait to be back to a game. back here in August. It's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Bill Mcguire.
Thank you all for joining us here today. I thought for a very few moments about what was perhaps worthwhile or appropriate to say, and I quickly realized that it was hopeless and a little frivolous to think that after Don spoke, having heard him many times, it would work well. And in thinking on the other side of me, I had two mayors in election season. Difficult. So I won't try to recount anything that's too profound or whatever. But I did think a couple reflections were in order, and I tend to reflect on what we learn in life in the past. I think soccer started here, professional soccer in the community, at least formally, back in 75 or 76. And for almost 40 years, it rattled forwards, up and down, a roller coaster of an existence, and almost went extinct in 2013. And at that point, there was an opportunity to step in and, as Don said, sort of build things. But in 2015, we were all together, a lot of us, at Target Field in Minneapolis. And on that day, Don announced that a new MLS franchise was coming to the Twin Cities. And that, of course, was the culmination of many dreams and aspirations for people engaged in the sport a lot earlier than I and some of our partners on this. But that was a big day. And here we are, or here we were 4 years later in 2019, seated whatever, on the lawn out front of this great stadium and announcing, sort of christening the opening of Allianz Field, a great stadium, part of the Allianz family. But another thing, here in St. Paul, Allianz Field, and part of what goes back and reflecting on uniting communities, uniting people, all the things that soccer can do. And now, only a couple years later, we're together again, together with Target, a great Minnesota company that's been part of this, together with Allianz, who's integral to this and the community engagement, and all of our many other partners who make this community such a great place that, in fact, wants to aspire, wants to bring forth the things that this sport is all about. So this is really a pretty great day for us. And Don, thank you, and the league and the other owners, everybody, for joining us and allowing us to show off a little bit more next year as to what a great place this is, what a great community is, and who all the great partners are that we have. So thank you, and I'm going to turn it over to the mayor, Mayor Melvin Carter.
Thank you, sir. Good to see you. Well, this is an exciting day for St. Paul. It's an exciting day for the Twin Cities, an exciting day for Minnesota. Dr. Mcguire, it's good to see you here. Commissioner, or Dr. Soccer, I think, as we've dubbed you here today. It's great to have you. It's always great to have you here as well. This team brings so much more than just a game to our community. If you've been to a game, and I assume many of us here have, the energy is exciting. The energy is palpable. You can feel it. You can hear it. And you know the enjoyment, the excitement, the energy right here in our community is important. But even beyond just the playing time that happens on this incredible field and this incredible space, just the ability to bring the world's game right here to a neighborhood, to a community, to a city that is host to people from all over the world, in which our community members speak over 100 different languages at home, is an important victory for our community. The ability for our young people to see this space, to see the players, to see all the folks who come around this space is important for us. even more so, the ability to connect with young people, to help them learn all of the things you can learn through sport. As the commissioner mentioned, the Santa Foundation and all of the work that you do, Tony, all of the work that happens around that organization with young people in our community and those other organizations in our community that use soccer and use sport to help teach our young people about sportsmanship, about being a teammate, about achieving a goal, about pressing forward to something. That's really critical. And then to think about the vision of transformation that we have together for this entire area around this, that we can use Allianz Field as a catalyst for continuing the economic development and growth that we know is so critical to the future in St. Paul and Minneapolis is just exciting. So the one thing that I think is cruel and unusual punishment is to tell me a month ago that we're going to have this exciting announcement and not be able to tell anybody for a month. Because this is really exciting. We get, I criticize us in Minnesota some because, our rule of being a good Midwesterner is that if you're really excited about something, if you think you're doing something well and you think something is just amazing, you got to stay quiet and make sure nobody ever knows it. And it's official. We get another chance to show the world what an incredible facility this is, and more importantly, what an incredible community it sits in. And that excites me to no end. So thank you all for being here with us to make this important announcement. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Dr. Mcguire, for the big vision that you always bring to this work every single day. It's exciting because I spend a good portion of my life in challenging people to just think bigger, to plan bigger, to come with a bigger vision. That's never been a problem with Dr. Mcguire. Because if you know him, he's always bringing forward an enormous vision, and that's really exciting. We need that for the future of our community. We're excited to host the All-Star Game. We're excited to show the world who the Twin Cities is, who St. Paul is, and why this is such a critical space, not only for soccer, but for our future together. So thank you for being here. We're super excited.
A few words here before I welcome Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey up to the podium, but just a couple details on the events leading into the 2022 MLS All-Star Game right here at Allianz Field. First and foremost, as we've stated several times, sponsored by the fantastic company and brand in Target. They will be the culmination of a week-long series of events across Minneapolis and, of course, St. Paul, including community initiatives, concerts, parties, the MLS All-Star Skills Challenge presented by AT&T 5G, and of course, so much more, as we've seen with every other fantastic event that's been held in and around this space and in the Minnesota community. So without further ado, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey.
Well, Melvin said it best. This is an extraordinary and exciting moment for the Twin Cities. And you're right, Melvin. Traditionally speaking, Minnesotans don't like to brag all that much when they do something incredibly well. And although it is an election season, and thank you for reminding us, I had no idea, I will admit that I am not originally from Minnesota. In fact, my family, extended family, comes from the same location, the same town as Commissioner Garber, Flushing in Queens, New York City. And in Queens, people brag all the time about the incredible things that they're doing. And so I would just like to express our gratitude, our pride for the Twin Cities. And the Commissioner mentioned just a second ago that we didn't get the All-Star Game. We earned it.
That's right.
We earned it over an extended period of time, not just being invested in the beautiful game of soccer, but also being invested in community. I remember going back now, 8 or 9 years ago, sitting in the butcher block with Dr. Bill Mcguire and Minnesota United as a team that at that point in time was not actually part of Major League Soccer. And the camaraderie around that table, the 5 or 6 languages that you heard, The notion that this was more than just a game, but also this deep investment in our Twin Cities, that is why we are getting the All-Star game right now. We've had a very hard couple of years. And I don't need to go through the series of crises that we've had, the 100 years in the making reckoning around racial justice. But it's also that collectively we're recognizing the magnitude of this moment, making sure that the precision of our solutions now match the precision of the harm that was initially inflicted. And also recognizing that it's not just Minneapolis or the Twin Cities that is going through this reckoning, it's the whole country. Major League Soccer has. We appreciate the fact that we all are now leaning in a way that we haven't before. Not just to get back to the old normal, but to blow by it towards full transformation. That's the direction that ultimately we know we need to go. And so is this about soccer? Absolutely. It's about a beautiful game, a beautiful Twin Cities that now gets to host and celebrate for a week long an extraordinary All-Star game. But it's also about where we're going in the long term. We are proud to have earned this honor of the All-Star game. We're proud to work alongside of you. And I can't tell you how much we are looking forward to this partnership. Right. Thank you so much.
Again, it just feels a little quiet in here for a celebration of a pretty fabulous event that's going to be taking place here. I know we have to wait until August of next year of 2022, but really looking forward to everything leading up to it and, of course, the week-long events into the All-Star Game itself. So thank you all for coming here today. That concludes our portion of the event, the online portion. Thank you to everybody who's been viewing and joining us across the world for this amazing announcement. But we've got a couple more things, some housekeeping items here as far as we're going to do a little photo opportunity up here for anybody that would like to take a photo. And then we're also going to be heading down to the field for, as we mentioned, the Sana Foundation, a lot of very special kids that get to join on the field today for a scrimmage that are going to get out of school and come and join us on the beautiful Allianz Field pitch. So we are going to have that, as well as a photo opportunity on the field. And we also have head coach Adrian Heath of Minnesota United, Ethan Finley, midfielder, will be joining as well. Chris Wright, the outgoing fabulous CEO, and the incoming fabulous CEO, Sherry Ballard, will all be on the pitch for some media availability. So thank you all for joining us here today. We appreciate everything you do in the community and, of course, showing up not just today, but every single day. So thank you, everybody, for coming for this amazing announcement.